Flat Earth Debate, Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere, and there's also a coffee, Patreon, crypto and thanks button in the info box below the video. Speaking of Patrons, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of you who do support me on Patreon. So, a massive shout of thanks and appreciation to Smith Tools and Purchase, Level Plain Poem, Amish, Vitali Z, Colton James, BG, Survive the Spin, FE Patriot on the level, Thomas Van der Zander, Gary Hughes, Measured Flat, Chris Wouters, Sea Level Cultist, Mitch Kennedy, Rod the Names Burley, Twodwazzle, Jason Hornsby, Christoph Fournier, Flat Earth Travolta, JMels24, Unimento, M, Iron26, Endless, Golden McKinnon, Retro Bill, Michael Kahn, John Kays, Patrick Gunnels, Banter, Mel B. Styles, Hairy Blade, Mobile Max 777, Rob W, Del West Watson, Unbelievable Productions, Blue Ridge Ranger, Abraham Mohammed, Skeptic 936, Texas Mike, Chow Yun Cat, David Wayne Foster, and Dank. So another massive thank you to all of you for supporting me on Patreon. With that, I will hand across to whoever is in Discord and Google so you can enjoy their dulcet tones while I set up for today's live show.
Hey, it's Nathan.
Sure.
So like that saying, like, you don't think it conforms to the saying, you know, man is intelligent, but men are stupid. You know, since they become a group due to, you know, influences, bad influences, men become stupid. They just copy what the next one
It
does.
can go that way. Have you ever seen that Men in Black? I think it was the first one where he's telling, I think the Will Smith character, and he's like, one person can be smart, but sometimes a whole group can be really panicky and dumb, right? And he actually brings up a flat Earth thing. He goes, 500 years ago, everybody knew the Earth was flat, right?
Yeah, they knew
But
it, brother.
it is
They
that
knew it.
mentality. We get into a fear mode, right? And everybody's like, "Ah," everybody just kinda,
Yeah.
fends for themselves in a weird, isolated, sort of emergent property way, but
Yeah. It's cool how he said they knew it was flat. Like, you know, define those words and you got the answers.
it
I
was
remember
pretty interesting coming into Flat Earth and seeing all the different movies that would just say blatantly Flat Earth, you know?
I remember seeing that movie and that went over my head, that part, because I was more into the graphics, the CGI, seeing I want to see an alien. And then when it
Same.
became when it became in- when it, yeah, when it became significant to me was when I started, getting on the different servers and the different channels of Flat Earth, and that would be always a clip that they would show. And you notice Tommy Lee didn't say that in a condescending, derogatory way. It wasn't pejorative at all. He was saying like,
Yeah.
hey, at one time we were all wise. Basically, that's what he was saying. So I didn't take when it came back to me. I was like, okay, but like I was telling Nathan, everybody that, and like Nathan came right in and alluded to it. Now, I don't know how long it's been, but now they're trying to say it's like an ascension of knowledge and wisdom to come to the realization that the Earth is not flat, and that was the days of the dumb days, and we are on a spinning globe. So, see, the deceivers are cunning, man. They're cunning. They do everything. They got artificial intelligence, they got robotics, they got everything that's what you would call copycat.
Yeah, I
A clone,
believe we'll.
a clone of reality to,
Yeah,
to give a pseudo reality, a virtual. What's the word? Virtual reality.
yeah. I believe we were wise when I see it. Hey, Nathan.
Hello,
Good to see you.
good to be here.
You don't know me, but I know you.
Oh, jolly good. Nice to meet you, Shaggy.
Likewise.
I got a question for you, Nathan. Are you there, Nathan?
Say again, D.
Oh man, I thought you. Oh, yeah, that's why you could see the damn icon. I forgot. I was gonna try to be some blurf and start asking a dumb question.
Also, Nathan, something's up with your background. I don't know if somebody else is opening it just sounds like there's static in your background.
Sounds like what? I've got a kettle boiling in the background, probably that.
Oh, okay. Just letting you know because I know you care about that type of stuff.
It's gonna still boil at the same temperature if you go higher. I don't know.
Ed Sheeran.
Morning.
What's up, Adam?
Not much. It's early, but it doesn't feel as early because of daylight savings. Oh.
I think we're in politics
feeling
right
good.
now, aren't we?
Yep, that's the place.
Who was that? Who's experienced daylight savings?
It's price of
Is that you,
Adam
Nate?
in America.
What, you guys got that nonsense over there as well?
What nonsense would that be?
Daylight savings.
Yeah, in a week or two we do, yeah.
Okay. We could just open the shop a bit earlier. Or we could change the time. I don't know.
Kind of goes
Hey,
back to
Nathan,
what we
maybe
were talking about earlier. Just open the shop when the sun comes up. Close the shop when the sun goes down. Work a little bit more in the summer. Work a little bit less in the winter. Done.
Simple.
Unless you're at the equator, right? I mean, you just work the same all year.
am I the only
Call
one
it
that
a
still acts like a? Am I the only one that still acts like a child that gets a birthday gift or whatever when you know you ordered something? Right? You know it's coming, and then when it comes, you just feel like it's like you open up a gift that you've never seen before, and you're excited, especially when it's like technology, like electrical technology,
Yeah, I've got a
like a new,
microphone on the way for my daughter for a little podcast
right?
that she does, and I can't wait. Really excited about it.
Nathan's was just lit up the whole time. Someone else was talking. I was like, his voice has changed. That was really confusing.
I do that.
Yeah,
I'm just
Shaggy,
clever.
there's a couple of voices.
Just clever like that.
Well,
So,
G
what's your
plus
Yeah,
skin?
it
is that the
won't
Neumann
be
mic,
in May.
Nathan?
What skin color are you right now?
Me, I'm black. What colour are you?
It's a black
What's
lesbian.
that?
You don't know that?
I'm black and I'm proud.
Protest, brother. Protest.
I thought you were Jamaican. Give us a little accent.
Yeah, man.
Would you like some hash? Oh, do Jamaicans got hash? I don't know.
Everyone likes cash.
Lanes between.
I got to hit the sack. I got to get up soon. It was a pleasure talking to you folks. Hopefully, I won't feel so intimidated next time.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Take care, Shaggy.
it's good to be here on the Aussie Wind Down.
Says,
What time is it over there anyway?
Australia, it's nearly 1 a.m. How are you, Nathan? Welcome to the server. Great to have you back, dude.
Thanks. Good to be here.
I'm looking forward to the book and everything. I'm interested in the artwork. That's what I'd like to see. I'm interested in what you're going to do there.
That's something that hasn't been given much consideration potentially as it might have done. That said, people who've worked on it, like Adam, for example, in some of his illustrations, I hope they don't disappoint. We'll see. There are some good illustrations, right? Some of the pictures related to Narnia are quite good. You'd imagine.
Stop downplaying it. It's going to be big.
I'm just talking about the pictures. The book's going to be fantastic, but how good are the pictures? You had to think for a second. They're all right.
Everything's going to be good.
We were working on it till very late last night, and we'll be doing the same again today. As a consequence, I've come in here, as in politics, rather than my own server, rather than letting it slowly ramp up. I need content immediately so that when the after show is in effect and Adam joins, I'll be ending that and then getting on with book writing. So that's why I'm here. I'll be back tomorrow, as usual. Although last week I wasn't, but yeah, tomorrow I'll be here.
Well, it's time to put the hours in. Get this done. Get this out. Let's change the world, baby.
Yeah, the book will be out when it's ready.
Yes, I know that. But it won't be ready if you're not working on it. Working on it yesterday for many hours. Today, that's great. We can't have any lapses in between. This is the home stretch.
Yeah, I'm well aware, Neil. I've been working on it for over a year.
Mic check. Good morning. Good
Hey,
morning.
Chocolate.
Nathan. Politics was good.
What feels good?
What is
Oh, Mr. Oakley's in here. Hello, Mr. Oakley.
Good evening.
How you doing?
I'm very well. How are you?
All right, dude.
How you doing?
How are you doing?
I was thinking the same thing. How you doing?
You can't say how you doing without saying how you doing.
Did you ever hear the How You Doing song?
No.
Nah, there's a song.
Absolutely. My cousin Kamenuch made it. And then he made one for the Yankees called The Yankees How You Doing when they were winning their World Series in the late 90s and early 2000s.
No, I can't say that. Can't say I've ever come across that.
How'd it go?
It's something to the effect of, Joey, I'm at the San Gennaro's feast eating sausage and peppers. How you doing? Then he would come back with something else. And the Yankees, one of their scouts happened to be at the San Gennaro feast and picked up a copy. Played it for Derek Jeter and Chuck Knobloch. They loved it. They brought him into the clubhouse to ask them if they can make a Yankees How You Doing song. Made like 20 grand on it.
So Mad Guido style, basically.
Yeah, it's like just a talking song. I'll see if I can find it. I'll post it in
You say San Gennaro, P. It's been so long since I've been there.
Yeah, that's what they would do. They'd give us San
Good sausages,
Gennaro,
man.
the Mount Carmel, the one on 18th Avenue, 86th Street.
Yeah, that used to be in my hood. Literally, to go to that feast, I would have to go like 3 blocks.
Every September, baby.
We're all just thinking about local eateries now.
They also got 12 Days of a Guido Christmas. That one's pretty good too.
I might have heard that one on Bob and Tom.
I was in the background listening. But Neil, not to minimize what you was talking about or what they did, but you know where that term came from. How you doing? That came from Wendy Williams, WBLS, Kiss Radio. She used to say that about mocking um, closet case, the closet case rappers that she used to blame for being closet case homosexuals, and she used to be, "How you doing?" So
Kidding me?
that's what originated that term.
Really? Not the Italians. How you doing? Okay.
I'm talking about as far as you talking about national known Wendy Williams, syndicated radio. Maybe she got it from the Italians because she lived in a neighborhood that was diverse. So she might have gotten it from them and then just kind of implemented in it, or maybe she heard, transgenders or whatever saying, "How you doing?" And anybody that knows, anybody from New York like myself, Eli Chocolate, a native New Yorker would know that she took it to the syndicated Wendy Williams show and beyond radio. So that term, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
and that
I
was
didn't.
prior to the '90s World Series, reign, Yankees reign.
I don't know. For me, it's Tony Danza and Taxi.
Maybe she got it from that too.
Ah,
But it's
that's a
Exactly.
throwback
Yeah.
right
Tony
there.
Danza, Italiano.
No, it's
That's where
Joey
he
from
got it
Friends.
Okay. How you doing?
Joey
How you
from
doing?
Friends picked it
the
up
more
much later.
that's the more mainstream, but that he might be on some with the Tony Danza from Taxi.
No, that's true. Yeah, I remember that. How you doing?
That's throwback right
Who's
there.
the boss? Who's the boss?
That's the first thing I thought of was Who's the Boss? But I was like, nah, he used to say that on
It's from
Taxi, too.
Taxi, he said it.
Yo, Christopher Lloyd was so funny in Taxi, bro. I remember dying when I was a kid. Shout out to Doc Brown.
The funny part was Danny DeVito wasn't really big at the time. So you're watching it, and the first time he came out of the booth, and and he was this freaking slog. Oh, it was hysterical. I'll never forget that.
He still looks the same as he did back then too.
Yeah, but you weren't expecting him to be this little guy because he was always in the booth in Taxi.
Vodka was the funny one. I mean, Christopher Lloyd was good too. Vodka was pretty funny.
I did not like his comedy at all.
DeVito was a very good director as well. He was an excellent director. It's one thing I found surprising about his movie director. Fantastic.
That's the Smoochie. I was the only one I know DeVito did.
Throw Mum from the Train War of the Roses. I think he directed the one about.
DeVito directed
Hot
those.
too. He
That's
directed
interesting.
Hot too.
Yeah, I didn't know that. All I know is him from
But that's
Alwyn.
it.
Alwyn.
Offer.
Throw Mama from the train.
Part of me thought that was Rob
See,
Reiner. But I might be wrong. That's pretty cool, though.
It does seem like a Rob Reiner, yeah, but it's definitely. And he, in the end, he wrote a pop-up book. But I was thinking it'd be cool to make a flat Earth pop-up book. You know, just have some. Or you have the oil rigs. You have a pop-up of the oil rigs. You know, and probably some, like celestial navigation or something, like a ship and the.
I
You
like
could
that.
have a pop-up
Pop-up Black
Eric
Swan.
DeBay.
or something.
Pop-up Eric DeBay in a yoga pose.
Yeah. Just anything, yeah. And you definitely have the Batman slapping Robin and like a alternate. You can sort of change the captions, to all this flat slap smacking kind of quotes. You can change it with a little thing on the side. It'd be cool.
Bit of pop-up Poncha Train. Love it.
Yeah, Curvy Ponce Train Bridge. That's a good one.
As we have a moment of silence for the dearly departed globe.
It's not the globe that's departed. It's the globe believers here. They're like cockroaches.
Someone pretend that the lights are out. Let them come out.
Yeah, that's not going to work in 2 minutes when I'm doing an intro for a live stream.
They're just mad their latest rocket blew up.
Did it? I didn't know that. It didn't make it to the second law of thermodynamics violating sky vacuum they think the sky is.
Yet again.
Oh, maybe they'll make it through the wardrobe. I mean, to the sky vacuum next time.
You know, it's Nathan. You was rubbing it in too. You doggone right. Will McFluffer Duffy is going to be hating flat earthers because he spent $250,000 and invited two so-called flat earthers that he thought was flat earthers, flip-flop, whatever you want to call them. And he only turned over, like you said, one Exodus flat earther. I'd hate you too. I'd hate every last one of y'all if that happened to me. That's one of the worst investments anyone could ever make.
There's no reason
Who
to.
told them to do that?
Exactly, there's no reason to hate me.
Why? I'm sorry.
I give you a chocolate.
Why would you invest in something that was supposedly already proven? This is where I'm confused. And even more so confused by the people who went back to the globe ball for that. Like, what do you mean? I don't understand. What, wasn't this supposedly evidenced already? And if it wasn't, why would you trust that it's evidenced now? What? Does that any of that make any sense?
Carry out. How you doing?
What's up?
What's up is me managing to make it through the introduction as I had a slight coughing fit just as the intro was rolling. But I managed to get through it. Excuse me while I have a sip of this delicious mango Rubicon. Any evidence of gravity?
Well, the clouds tell me no.
No
Good answer.
idea. Next question.
That's a good answer. Clouds say otherwise. Yeah, I like that. I'm stealing that. That's copyright Nathan Oakley 1980 right there, D-Rose. Love it. Thank you for bringing it to me. The clouds say otherwise. How true is that? What's that? It's all going down 9.8 meters per second in a downward direction with respect to a flat plane. Well, you'll need a flat plane for that downward direction, perpendicular to horizontal. Yeah, you'll definitely need horizontal for that, and you don't have one of those on a globe either. Meanwhile, we don't have a downward bias. Look up at the clouds. Right, D?
Yep.
No. What had happened was that the same thing that you would think would bring the clouds down to the ground are actually still keeping them up in the sky. Yeah.
Now, gas is
Because-
moving all
because
directions.
globe.
Not bonded to anything. They're not doing anything other than dispersing into the availability of volume and then coming back down again when they condense back into a liquid, more dense than the air surrounding it. It's called the water cycle. It's taught to everybody in school. We're all very familiar with this particular cycle that includes a gas.
It's called Yitivog. Yitivog is gravity backwards. Yitivog.
No, you just made that up. A bit like gravity. What about any single viable hypothesis from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics?
I'll grab a star.
We were saying in the pre-show that it's all very quiet
if
in the
you
politics server.
Can't
So
vary
let's-
them. No.
Go ahead one more time.
I'm sorry, I didn't know there was a delay. I said no. You'd have to vary the stars, and you can't do that.
It's not necessarily that you vary the stars. It's you have to manipulate a presumed, at this stage, causal influencer of the movement of the stars if that's what you're studying. So you're trying to cause the effect as observed in nature as a phenomena. Make sense? So it's like, what causes that? Well, what are you going to, as a researcher, vary and manipulate to cause, if this is the effect, the movement of the stars? Did you vary and manipulate the cause of the movement of the stars? You didn't. Well, then you haven't validated the cause of the movement of the stars scientifically, and to assert otherwise is nonsense.
Okay, I got it.
We ask this in our server politics that I'm addressing because of the use of science to pollute your mind with just so stories about being on a ball hurtling through a sky vacuum in violation of natural law, also not science. So our attempt in 2025 is to educate those around us about what science is. That's the elucidation of the cause of a phenomena you study in nature by presuming what will cause it and varying it to see if it causes it or not. That would be an experiment. So that's our ambition, to let people know what science is, so they can figure out what science isn't when they hear people talking about things like experiments when they aren't actually performing them.
So what are the science books in school that they give out and the science classes that you take? What is that?
A way of greasing the skids for just so stories later in life.
Such as scientists have discovered a new insect that dwells deep within the abyss of the Pacific Ocean. And scientists say that these bugs
100% of those astrophysicists are still stuck in the first step of the scientific method, which is the observation. The only thing that they are doing is the observation.
Wow.
Observing the phenomena.
And then,
moving.
then declaring as just so story to explain it. They're not validating it with cause and effect reasoning and experimentation based on hypothesis. They're just making up a story after observing a phenomena. The only part of the scientific method, as you were correctly identified, that they would adhere to, justifiably you could say, well, they've adhered to the first step. They observed the phenomena. Yeah. Did they then vary and manipulate the presumed cause to see if it caused it or not? That would be an experiment. No, they don't. They just make up a story.
No, because you are in a field that won't allow you to just verify those things. Astrophysicist is the only person who can't verify the things that he is studying.
Is he studying them or just looking at them?
Looking at
he's
them.
not a
He is
scientist.
just looking at them, but he's trying to study them. But by looking at them, and he have to go to the other steps, throwing a hypothesis and testing that hypothesis in reality, which he can't do.
Then he's not a scientist. He's an ologist.
He's an observer.
Exactly, not a
What?
scientist.
A
If I
watcher.
see a pack of gazelles eating upon a male lion, doesn't make me a scientist because I'm observing an absurd, rare, natural phenomena.
Now make up a
Doesn't make me
story.
a scientist.
Make up a story about how that lion evolved the claws and teeth. Then you're a scientist.
Right, exactly. And how these gazelles were able to have the fangs and the power. I mean, if you don't do all of that, all you are doing is observing. And I can stare for 17 hours and 3 days and 47 nights. I'm still just studying and staring. I ain't did jack crap in the scientific methodology.
Yeah, you will be a storyteller. You can throw in that after that observation that the gazelle, because the lion eated some gazelles from their pack, they grow some hatred against the lion, so they could eat meat instead of herb and things like plants. You can throw any story you want.
Sure, you can tell stories about a magical land in a time long ago and far, far away, where battles commenced amongst the stars. You can make up these stories, and then you can have those stories tally with the church rhetoric of heliocentrism and us moving around a star called the sun in a motion called heliocentrism. Well, you can do that, yeah. You can just make up any old crap.
It's
Just not
funny how
science.
they call the sun a star, but in the Bible, it's the stars, the moon, and the sun.
Correct. And the earth. Those are different objects, different, distinguished from each other. So the sun is not the moon. The moon is not the stars. The sun also is not a star. The earth is different from them all. And also, when you are talking, you make the big differentiation, which is celestial things, so things that belong to the sky, and terrestrial things, so things that belong to the earth, showing that those are different domains. Sky, not the earth.
That's why I didn't add the earth. I said the stars, the sun, and the moon.
Hi. Hi.
Hello.
Oh, I heard you saying that you've always
know this
known there
voice,
were
Nathan.
2 points of rotation in the sky. I wonder how that works on the flat Earth.
It only works on a flat Earth. Describing the 2 points of rotation are measured with respect to planes in both instances. We're talking about how it works on a flat Earth. All of the angles described with both of those systems are with respect to a plane. It only works on a plane. What are you babbling about?
Which points do you mean?
You're asking me which points you've just asked about? The 2 points of rotation that you just asked about both get described with respect to a plane. I've just said this. I just said it like 10 seconds ago. You completely ignored me. So you're going to ask me about which points you just asked about. You're a disingenuous prick. I answered you based on the points you brought up and you directly asked me, and now you're asking me which points. You're a disingenuous prick.
No.
Prick.
You
said there were 2 Now I'm just going to do what you do to me typically, which is talk through me. You just talk through me typically. So I'm just going to call you a disingenuous prick through the top of you. It's your trick that you usually do, Hyuka. Just yatter through the top of anything that anybody says in response. I'll just do that to you, because you do it to me. No, dick. I just told you which bleeding points are measured with respect to a plane, and you're not going to acknowledge it, are you? I told you twice, because you're a disingenuous prick.
Which points are they?
The ones you bleeding asked me about. Third time's a charm, dickhead, wanker, arsehole. He's this arsehole moderation team. I've answered him. He's a prick. He's not acknowledging the flat plane of reference that's used for these 2 points in the sky that he's asking me about, and now asking for clarity about which bleeding points he asked me about. He asked me about them, I've answered them. What part of this don't you get? Do I need to go 4th time's a charm, by the way? I'm now going through it 4th time. Yeah, everything with respect to this sky that he's asking about, the 2 points of rotation, every angle, every star, every GP, will be measured with respect to a plane. I've said it 5 times. Why am I still talking to you? Dick, wanker, why aren't you acknowledging this? Because he's been server muted. Good.
There were 2 points
Good.
of rotation.
No, somebody took charge of you, Hyuka. Somebody shut you up. That's what happened to you, Hyuka. You're a disingenuous prick and you've annoyed me, right? You should have acknowledged it the first time, you stupid dick. Now you're being shut down and shut up because you couldn't tolerate me explaining how bleeding wrong your stupid, disingenuous question was. How does it work on a plane? It only works on a plane. Now this is the 6th time. You not acknowledging it, you're gonna get removed because you're a disingenuous arsehole. Next time, acknowledge it the first frickin' time I explain it to you. Your question's malformed because everything with respect to these points of rotation you're asking me about is described in every single respect with a plane beneath it. It's the only way it gets described 6 times, 7 times, it doesn't matter how many times I tell him. It won't acknowledge it ever. They never do. Earth's flat, that's how it's measured. Points of rotation, what with respect to a plane? 8th time.
Well, he can acknowledge it. If he does, then he relinquishes his belief in a ball.
Yeah, so he's going to ask me about the points I'm talking about that get measured with respect to a plane that he just asked me about. Wanker.
Tell him to study Kepler.
Yeah, we're dealing with wankers. Yeah, are you enjoying this? Audience, my audience, that is. Yeah, that's what we get from them. Oh, well, does it get measured flat? When it gets measured flat. Which bit? The bit you asked me about? That doesn't get measured flat. How does it get measured flat? I just told you how it gets measured flat. That doesn't get measured flat. Yeah, it does when it gets measured flat. And round we go with an irritating, disingenuous arsehole who will never acknowledge the facts in this matter. Will he? Ever. Is this complicated? Is this something? Is it the way I'm saying it? The first time, the second time, the third time, the 4th time, the 5th time, maybe the 6th time? Was it not clear enough? I've answered him. Earth gets measured flat with angles to stars. Points of rotation? What, for the systems that are flat? Now, that was not unclear how bleeding flat Earth got measured for the systems he asked about, was it? Was I unclear about that? 9th time. Was I unclear? Did anybody not understand what I just said?
No, perfectly clear.
Perfectly clear. Why did I have to go through it with Hyuka 3-4 times? With him asking me what I mean? Asking me which points he's asked me about? I'll tell you why. Because he's a wanker. A globe-believing wanker, I'll add. Because that's what you globe-believing wankers are like. That's all you can do. Behave like a wanker when I tell you how bleeding Earth's measured flat. That's what you can do. Yeah, in the face of how flat Earth is measured, tell me about how you don't understand, how I haven't explained it. Ask me about the points that you've just specifically asked me about. That's what you can do in the face of how Earth gets measured flat. That's all you've got. It's pathetic.
Because he's assuming he's on a ball. That's why. You know that, Nathan.
Well, when I point out how Earth gets measured flat with the 2 points of rotation I'm being asked about, that needs some sort of acknowledgement, Neil. Otherwise you get removed. Perfectly justifiable. So why should I have to go through it without getting acknowledged once? I'm getting told some shite about how all things go down to the ground at 9.8 meters per second. The person telling me damn well expects me to understand what they've told me, even when it's wrong. Now, me telling him demonstrable facts about Earth can only be measured flat when you're talking about 2 points of rotation. Is he going to acknowledge it? No! None of them do. They can't. It's sad.
Yeah, Hyuka's regular. He's very difficult to talk to. Frustrates the hell out of everyone
is he
here.
always like that?
Yeah, there's a word
Yeah.
for
I'm
it.
sorry, man.
The word's wanker. He's a wanker. Yeah, we know wankers are difficult to communicate with because they're wankers.
What do you expect from someone who still till this moment can't understand that the triangle that you get from elevation angle is a right triangle? He can't understand that. You have two right triangle using the GP of the observer, the line of sight to the star, and the co-altitude, so to form the right angle with the zenith angle. And you have the second right angle with the elevation angle with adding the GP of the star, which is 90 degrees. So two right angles, and he still, till this day, say that no, the triangle that you get from elevation angle is not a right angle triangle. So what do you expect, Nathan?
I don't know. This is it.
So
We've got it on
what kind
screen.
of triangle does what kind of triangle does he think it is?
I don't know. Hyokan triangle.
That was pretty cool. You had it on
Well-
screen while you was saying that. I like the way you did that, Nathan.
But it's on screen for my audience's benefit. There's a star. Let's say Polaris. Obviously, we won't be using the south one because there isn't one. There's an elevation angle with respect to a plane. That's how it's all measured and dealt with. Simple. It can only work on a flat plane or we wouldn't get an angle. That's what I told him. It can only work on a plane. Here's the example. This is in any navigation book that you'll find because this is how it's done. This is how the world's been mapped. The world's been mapped flat. Because it is flat, that's how it's utilised and practically applied in this example, specifically with reference to answering the dick, wanker, arsehole globe believer that's got nothing. We, victorious flat earthers, show you from a navigation book how Earth's measured flat. That's what we do. It's because this is not a debate anymore. We just know the truth. Earth is flat. That's how it is measured and dealt with. You don't have to like it, you globe-believing wankers.
Well, you can't accept the measurements and keep your faith. That's the problem.
It's simultaneously necessitated there, isn't it? That's what I like to take them to. When we're about a latitude system wrapped around your ball, where's that come from? All right, measuring the same exact process, elevation angles. Yeah, that'll be on a flat plane as depicted in this diagram. That's how Earth's measured. Your systems that are wrapped around a ball get measured flat and then projected spherically from within a ball. Now, we know how Earth gets measured, regardless of how the system's constructed with north and south antipodal flat planes to create a celestial sphere. Notice how quickly I can summarise it too. Yeah, we know how Earth gets measured flat. What about the ball-believing dickhead that asked me how it would be facilitated when it's the only way possible? What about him? No, he's had to be shut up and shut down. Maybe you can all appeal to how this server that I don't own is my mute button. No, he was a wanker, a globe believer, just like you. I'm talking to you, audience member. Yeah, you. You're going, me? How could you be talking to me on the other side of my iPad? No, I am. I'm addressing you directly, you globe-believing wanker. You've got nothing. That's why you hate me. Because I've got everything. That's proof. When I say everything, I mean everything that proves Earth's flat. Every measurement of Earth that proves it. Yeah? That's why you despise me. And that's why you've got to behave like a wanker when you encounter me. Like that dickhead did. You can't acknowledge the facts of the matter when you're asking me what you think is a clever question. How'd it get measured flat on a flat Earth? Well, flat, like it gets measured on a flat Earth because it's flat. Well, that's not flat. You haven't explained it. Wanker. Get lost, wanker. That's the best you've got.
I think it might be because they have an explanation for how not curved it is. They think we need to explain how flat it's measures.
Yeah, they think we need to tolerate an explanation for why we wouldn't need to measure it spherically in this instance and how locally flat they, the globe-believing dickhead wankers, can measure it to affirm their sphere belief after measuring Earth necessitated flat because that's how it's measured. But that's okay, it's only local.
And might I add,
That's the
I like
that's the old okey doke though. Sorry, D.
But
That's the old.
that's
That's
all
the
right. No.
old. That's the old okey doke, right? Because John, you said they have an explanation for why it's not flat. Well, that's where we're supposed to be like, oh, no, but it's supposed to be curved. That's what it is, right? Right? No, we're not doing that anymore. just measure flat. That's it.
Even an even the 8 and 10-year-old, which I speak on behalf of my children. I said they heard Nathan on a pre-recording going through this with another blurf, and I explained to them because they wanted to know exactly what he was saying in detail. I said, well, let's say you measured from our house to the school, which is about a quarter of a mile, and it was all flat. They consider that just locally flat. And they'll say, no, but the rest of it got to be curved. So then you measure from the school to the Home Depot, which is about 3.84 miles, and that's flat. And they say, no, but that's only from there. That's locally now. Now
No.
further on is curved. And then so on and so on.
But the
I said,
miles
"Have you guys-"
themselves are linear.
Thank you. Thank you. I said, son, so if you took 17 measurements from 17 different landmarks and all of them were flat, what does that give you? They all said at the same time. I kid you not, on my family's grave, my parents' grave, flat. They get it. They understand. It's not something complex to them. It's common sense.
It's a
That
way,
which
we've
blurs
been
black.
trained to whistle past the graveyard. So we describe how curvy the surface could be after utilizing things like distance, what linear and flat by nature of the miles or kilometers that you're utilizing. You're going to describe how the linear distance measured across a plane curves after mathematizing it. No, the distance you measured was flat. Any drop over that distance will be described with respect to horizontal, with curves of the hills that are described in terms of their altitude with respect to sea level. That's a flat plane also. Everything's always measured flat. Doesn't matter what you do. So yeah, roll out the wankers to waste our time. Get us frustrated. Go ahead.
And all you surveyors are blasphemers for trying to lie and try to convolute your topographical variations upon your surveys, along with the majority of it being leveled and horizontal. You're a blasphemer liars. You're not tricked into thinking that. You just bound by the narrative. That's the general narrative. Never concede. That's why you lie.
They ain't lying. They just missed the dancing bear, man. That's all it is. They've missed the plane they're using. They've disrespect. It's been so common in everything we've ever done that it's been ignored instead of respected.
Yeah, and that disrespect of the plane that people utilize after measuring it flat, they'll say that they've calculated the ball with that measurement of flatness that they've disrespected. I'm not going to tolerate it anymore. No, you don't get to use that. No. You don't get to use our flat Earth measurement to start talking about how Earth could be not flat. Because that's what we got earlier from Hayuka. How does this process of measuring Earth flat work on a flat Earth? That's the question that he essentially asked me. That's why I got immediately annoyed with him. How dare you ask me how, when measuring Earth flat, that can work on a flat Earth? That's irritating. Very, very irritating.
More annoying than asking you about the 2 points he just brought up. He asked you about. More annoying than that.
Yeah. He asked me about 2 points in the sky and how they can work on a flat plane. I explain how the 2 points in the sky would be only ever measured with respect to a flat plane. He then asked me what points I'm talking about. Yeah, wanker. That's what you got, wanker. How does this Ferrari do 0 to 60 in 3 seconds? Well, you put your foot on the gas in the Ferrari and it goes 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. What's a Ferrari? Wanker, we sat in one. What's a Ferrari?
Yeah, basically.
That was a good one. I'm over here laughing. I'm doing housework, but what's a Ferrari? But we sat in. What's a Ferrari? A car. Well, could you define a car? An automobile. Could you? It's like, when do you? Come on. But that's stupid though.
So in this interim period during daylight savings transition, do we get more alert Americans or less alert Americans? Have they been awake an hour, or are they just getting up where they wouldn't have been?
I would have been awake either way.
Not helpful.
I know.
Are you well? At this point in the day, have you been awake longer than you would typically? I mean, this matters not in a week or two, but it's nice to know. More sharp. Have they been awake longer?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, we've got the Americans at their best then. We had the Australians when we first joined the politics server earlier today at their worst because they're just phasing out and fizzling out at 1 a.m. But you guys...
I wouldn't say that morning time is America's best. Morning time's sort of, that's just Americans.
It's all right. You guys can still taste the toothpaste, right?
Hey.
Hello.
I've spoken to these guys in the chat. You just said something like antipodal flat Earth. What do you mean that?
No, what I said was the north and south system gets sandwiched antipodal to create the celestial sphere with respect to two planes, north and south planes, that get sandwiched antipodal. And then that creates the celestial sphere with respect to two planes. Do you understand?
How they sandwich together?
Do you understand that we are describing these stars with respect to planes or not?
Oh, well, I know that Polaris is one of them.
Is that a yes? You understand that Polaris would form a North Pole-centric system that's measured with respect to it? He's going to talk through me, arsehole, wanker. Try again, third time. Why am I doing it 3 times? Let's just put him on mute, server operators, and I'll ask the rest of them. Does everybody understand what I've just described? Polaris at the north with respect to a plane. Now, I've gone through it with that wanker 3 fucking times. Yeah? Now, is he going to acknowledge, just like last time, that, yeah, we're describing stuff measured with respect to a plane, North Pole-centric, and another plane, South Pole-centric, that then get sandwiched antipodal. But they're planes that we're fucking measuring. Now, did Hayuka acknowledge it? Maybe it's because I wasn't clear enough in the 5th time that I went through it this time, as I'm foaming at the mouth with irritation. Did anybody not understand what I just went through? Because Hayuka, wanker. Because that's all you can do, Globe Believers. I'm addressing you behind the iPad screen. You watching on your telly. You watching on your smartphone. You, Globe-believing wanker. This is all you'd be capable of. Yeah? Simon, Dan, Craig, fight the flat earth. Dave thinks he's a professor. That's all you'd be capable of too. The best of you could just become a wanker in my presence when I tell you how Earth gets measured flat. This wanker's just had his second attempt to ask me about the antipodal systems that are mathematized from flat plane measurements at the north and south. Did he acknowledge it? Did he? Bollocks! Because you can't. All you can do is get me frustrated with how little you can acknowledge. That's all you can do, wankers.
Right. So he didn't acknowledge it, but we all understood it. I think some people, and maybe if you're in the audience, you might be confused when you hear what Nathan is saying. You got to focus on 2 things. One, that there is a measurement and a system created from this measurement. That's number 1. 2, the description. Don't confuse the description with reality, because when you do, that is what reification is. And that's why we have this problem when it comes to projections, globes, flat planes with domes, all of this stuff. When you take a description or something that's meant for one thing, like something abstract, and treat it as concretely real, that is the fallacy of reification. Learn it and understand how not to do it.
Yeah, but his purpose in this forum isn't to learn what reification is or to employ it less often or acknowledge a single smaking word. His only purpose is to dodge and dive and duck. That's it.
It's interesting, though, that all of their
Polaris
questions are
forms
dependent upon that
the first
celestial
plane, huh?
sphere for it.
Sorry, the plane of reference that is Earth that we're measuring, Hyuka. You understand? Yes? That's the 10th one.
Polaris is the first.
You stuttering wanker. Stuttering wanker. Just say yes. Yes, we're measuring Polaris with respect to a plane. You understand, yes?
To the equator. Just to
with respect to a plane, the equator's derived from the Polaris minimum that's also a plane. At its maximum, you've got the equator. That's the edge of the plane that's measured with Polaris. So this is now the third attempt. Hyuka, you wanker, you globe-believing pathetic numpty that's got nothing. It's a plane we're measuring with Polaris, though, isn't it? Third attempt. Wanker, 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 wanker.
What do you use?
Why are you asking me something, you total wanker? Fourth attempt, shut him up. I don't want to get irritated. Why have I got to raise my voice to this wanker? He's not acknowledged a single thing I've said. Wanker, why should I have to deal with this? I've done it 3 times. Why? No, wanker. You see how I don't own this server, but with total justification, you're being shut down like the wanker you are. Again, I'm going to address the people watching this who believe in a globe. You are metaphorically represented by this wanker, because you also, man and woman watching, you are that wanker, globe believer wanker. Yeah, that's you. I'm talking to you, because that's all you'd be capable of doing. Yeah? You tell me about how are we going to measure Earth flat with this flat Earth measurement? I tell you how it's a flat Earth measurement, and then we go round and round in circles with you failing to acknowledge the facts of how Earth is measured flat in this instance. Now you can start hijacking those flat Earth words like equator. That's a flat Earth word. And what did he do when I pointed that out on the third attempt? Did he acknowledge that either? No, he didn't. The Polaris minimum measured with an angle off a flat plane giving him the equator. That he's going to hijack and steal and pretend it's on a ball without acknowledging how it's measured. No, Earth's measured flat first. And you can be damn sure I'll be shutting you down on my own server and being told that I'm so unreasonable with my mute button. But when I'm on a foreign server that I've got no control over, I'll be gloating and calling you, my audience who believes in a globe, a wanker also, because that's what you are. And he was your representative. He got told how Earth got measured flat, and then he just behaved like you would behave. You wanker. Earth's measured flat, wankers. I'm talking to you, globe believers. Go and tell your priests like Dave Farina and Craig and Dan, and tell them I called you a wanker based on how pathetic and ignorant you are of the facts when it comes to measuring Earth. It's flat. Any other wankers want to take our measurements and tell us how ball-shaped it is? Or ask us how flat it ain't getting measured with the flat Earth measurements you're hijacking? Feel free.
Well, I acknowledge.
You stuttering wanker, shut up. You're a stuttering wanker. It's measured on a plane. Wanker.
I did that.
Wanker.
I want to know
wanker.
How you carry on.
Wanker. 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 It's measured on a plane, wanker. Polaris measured on a plane for the equator, wanker. Wanker. I'll just do what you do. Justifiably so, because you didn't acknowledge me in about 12 smegging attempts. No, wanker. We're measuring on a plane, so the first thing you need to describe to me when you've asked me about the equator and Polaris and North and South Pole-centric systems measured on a plane is how we measure Earth as a plane. It's the first thing that better come out of your mouth, or I'll just call you a wanker and shout you down, because that's what you are, wanker. Now, while I call you a wanker, justifiably so, the server operators, not me, have muted your dumb ass, because you're ignorant and stupid and a wanker and cannot acknowledge what you've had put to you now. This will be the 14th time, so I'm going to ask the server operators. Let's see if in the 14th attempt, if you can acknowledge every single thing that he asked me about needed a flat plane to be measured. Let's see if he can acknowledge that.
Oh, I already said I acknowledge that you measure the latitudes from Polaris in the north, from the North Pole to the
from the stuttering over the flat plane that we measure, you stuttering little bitch. You stuttery little bitch. Yo, stuttery. Yo, stuttery. We measure it on a plane, don't we?
Which star do you?
Why are you asking me? Shut him up, bitch. Now, bitch, I'm going to tell you, bitch. No, you're not going to get to talk through me, bitch. You'll get shut down like that's happened. Nobody's feeling sorry for you, you pathetic wanker. No, bitch. What you did was stutter and stammer like a pathetic little bitch when it came to the acknowledgement of the flat Earth you need to measure. Yeah, bitch. Yeah, you measure Earth flat and all you could do was stutter. Yeah, again, audience. Globe-believing, numpty, dickhead, wanker audience. He's you. Yeah? Me gloating and smiling about how he stuttered before acknowledging the flat Earth that got measured. That's all he did. Like you do, you stuttering bunch of wankers. Yeah, that's what he did. Did he acknowledge it 15 times? No, he didn't. Got called a wanker, shut down for his pathetic stuttering and failure to acknowledge how Earth gets measured flat, because it does.
You know the shadow question of the moon or the lunar eclipse, like saying the shadow cast upon the moon. You know how they come to the idea it was a shadow?
What, with respect to a plane?
Yeah, they measured the angles of the celestial body, and then they calculated the negative height below the plane of reference the sun would be at when it disappeared from the sky, what we call sunset. They just put that underneath the ground, and that angle is what gives them their shadow.
Yep. The descriptions of
illegal.
angles receding with respect to a plane at sunset then gets reified into a position that you can have the sun move below. In the same way, the system itself to create Earth curve is a derivation of surface level when calculating eye level differentials to give you a point below the surface level you've just measured, called Earth curve. It's utterly absurd mathematics that's incapable of reification when you understand how it works. Shout out to Himsake for the super chat. Who invited Chief Bulls on Shin? I don't know. There's 100 people watching. Very big shout out and warm welcome to all of you in my live audience. Please share the show if you've not done so already. Also, hopefully one of you will spam the link, my moderation team that is, to the politics server. Fantastic server that has graciously allowed us to pop in when we feel so inclined, although we typically are and will be tomorrow in the politics server because we normally attend on a Friday, but it is Thursday in case you're watching after the fact. But we're here on a whim, having fun with Hyuka, who seems to follow us everywhere. But there we go. Please join the politics server if you want fun in many other regards. There's lots of other different rooms, not just Flat Earth. Obviously, with a name like politics.
Well, there's also the reason that we can't be eradicated as flat earthers is because of the measurements, which is also the reason we're so upset with them. You know, it's like it's a shield and a cage, I guess, if you think about it.
Yeah, stop using that bleeding measurements. Very irritating. You can mock us all you like with your ball belief. All right, you want to believe you're in a ball, therefore you see us as silly. What, us realists, you measure Earth flat and recognise that means Earth's flat because we measure it flat. You just want to measure Earth flat and then pretend you're on a ball and mock us for knowing Earth's flat when we measure it flat, like you do. Okay, well, that's fine. To each their own. I'll just go with Earth's measured flat and that's because it's flat. Not Earth's measured flat and that's because it's a really big ball and locally it's okay to measure it flat because it's a really big ball and that. That's just your stupid nonsense that you feel you've got a justification to mock me with. No, we both use the same measurement of a flat Earth. So I don't do anything after it, you do, and therefore you think I'm silly? Definitely not. Meanwhile, when you do that, I'll stop you from using our measurements at that point. Why are you using my flat Earth measurements that you want to mock me for? Don't do that. Believe in a ball all you like. That's perfectly acceptable. But don't start asking me, how do I measure Earth flat when I measure Earth flat? Because that'll get you called a wanker, because that's what you are at that point.
Nathan, don't you think you're being a little hard on them? How do you expect them to get measurements off a curved surface? You got to share a little bit.
They don't, but they want to believe that they're on a curved surface. Well, we're long past asking them for measurements of sphericity. We know where the sphericity they think they've got measurements to reify come from. From a flat plane that gets measured and then turned into a spherical system based on projections of angles taken off a flat plane to things like Polaris, the very question I was asked earlier. I mean, that discussion's not going to go anywhere, because the person I'm telling that's asking me asks me what points I'm answering about that he brought up. That's a kind of wankery we have to deal with when we go through how your globe comes to fruition, based on measurements of a flat plane that we actually live on and measure to create your globe. For you to ask me how Earth would be measured flat, It's just idiotic. That's the kind of shit we have to deal with here on Flat Earth Debate 10 years into the subject. But based on that, it means at least we can publish a book that points out how it's idiotic to call this a debate anymore. No, there is no debate. There's just facts. The fact of Earth and how it's measured. It is flat.
And I just want to allude to what Neil said for those pedantic, nitpicky, try to be a smart ass, excuse my language. Yes, there are circumferential measurements of someone's big fat belly and their waistline and their torso and even the measurement of a basketball and things like that. But don't try to connect that and affiliate that and convolute that with what we're talking about. Linear, mileage, length, distance, elevation, latitudinal measurements from the Earth's surface to the sky. Don't try to put it together. Because yes, there are measurements of everything. You can measure everything. You can measure your foot. You can measure your head, the diamond. Come on, we know that. So don't try to be pedantic about it. You know what Nathan's talking about. Just in case a blurf decides to come in here and try to mix it up with him with that little point. So shut that down.
No, that's not the same thing. Measuring an object within a Cartesian coordinate system is not the same as the Cartesian coordinate system itself being with respect to the plane of reference.
Right, we're kind of talking amongst ourselves, so sorry, just to interrupt you one sec. We are going to disappear. Oh, just 1 second, G+. Thank you very much for having us. This was an impromptu visit, and I want to round out our discussion about being in politics behind your back, as is only reasonable, but in a different server, because we will toddle along tomorrow to politics. But in the meantime, moderation, invisible team that are fantastic. Thank you very much for having us.
More than welcome. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Later, guys.
So the reason I've done that is because there's going to be a very short after show. So to kind of keep the theme of an after show, although we've still got live show to continue in, I've moved us into our own server. I say it's our own. I've got no. It's not my server, right? It's run by Righteous. Anyway, the point is we've gone into our home from home, the Flat Earth Debate server, run by the illustrious Righteous Force. And in this server, we can have a semi after show, and then round out for proper in the after show. Anyway, it'll make sense when you get to the end of this stream. We're doing the book later. That's the whole point of this. Adam will make an appearance in the after show, and when he does, that will be the point that I round out, and then we'll start doing like work. Not that this isn't.
Where's Kim?
She'll toddle along
who's
similar time to Adam, I would hope. Kim is Flatsy, to anybody in the audience who's wondering who that is. It's Flatsy. Who's that to?
On another,
Go ahead, D.
How do you measure the
on
Earth
another-
flat beyond the equator?
On another note, I was talking. Shut up. Excuse me. On another note, John Refractive, thank you, brother. I hope you read my message. You've been very informative and helpful and assisting me, but I got it down packed now, bro. I'm about to put one inside my guest bathroom now. I mean, my master bathroom now. I got it down. I know the system now. I'm an electronic, unlicensed. Don't hire me, but I can hook you up.
We measure Earth flat beyond the
How do you
equator with
measure the
any
Earth
star.
flat beyond the equator?
I heard you the first time. So you haven't acknowledged what I've put back to you in response. So you're acknowledging that with the equator and Polaris and its minimum elevation that we call the equator, that those are all flat Earth measurements. You're going to get one opportunity to acknowledge that, and then we're going to immediately remove you from the discussion. Do you acknowledge that the equator's formed with an elevation angle off a flat plane to Polaris? That's Earth being measured flat, Hayuka.
Oh, I already acknowledged how you got latitude to the.
Wanker, get lost. Go with God.
Yeah, once you acknowledge that, why are you asking us any questions?
He needs to be ignored.
Yeah, it's a disingenuous wanker. Exactly. John's just summarised it while I was moving him to the Bible study room. Do you want to repeat that, John? That's the exact reason why I'm so tetchy with him. Precisely. Go ahead.
At the moment, you realize that the measurement is of the Earth as a plane. You don't have any questions for us anymore. You need to go on and accept what the world is and get over it.
Yeah. What he's doing is he thinks he's being clever. He's saying, if we take the minimum elevation angle off a flat plane to Polaris, how do we measure Earth flat beyond the minimum elevation angle of Polaris? Now, what he's actually asking is, how do we measure Polaris beyond its minimum? That's the stupid question he's actually asking, to infer that what beyond the equator, the minimum of Polaris, it's not going to be a flat measurement anymore. So where do I take him? Well, let's just get past the, what up until the equator you accept that it's flat? No, he's not going to acknowledge that. I accept that we're making measurements for latitude. Not I accept that Earth's measured flat for those measurements, they're elevation angles off a flat plane. He's not going to acknowledge that. I was 15th attempt with him on this live show alone, wasn't it? 15 attempts. He didn't acknowledge Jack. He stuttered like a bitch, didn't he?
So it curves after the equator?
Exactly, Neil.
No,
but he's not
the
going to
reason-
acknowledge that. And that's where you get to John's point. No, at the point that he obviously understands he's trying to get a gotcha out of me with the understanding that we're measuring flat to the equator, that he's not going to admit either. Oh, I've already admitted that we're measuring a Polaris-based system. That's not admitting anything beyond the stuttery nonsense that we got the first time. But he already knows that he's being disingenuous. He knows that he's measured flat. He's just got to try and dodge and duck and weave his way around that. So what do we call that kind of person? 15 times a charm. Wanker. All I'm going to do is hold up a mirror to the audience. Oh, you're a globe believer in the audience. There's definitely some globe believers amongst the 107 people watching live right now. You're that wanker, aren't you? Yeah, you're that wanker. That's what you do too. Yeah, I know it and you know it, don't you? Yeah? The more time progresses, the more people point it out to me. No, these people are scared of you, Nathan. Yeah, and I know why. Yeah? Because I get to call you a wanker in the face of you using flat earth measurements like that wanker did. And then what will you do? I don't understand. Maybe if I deny or ask you how it's measured flat in the face of the flat earth measurement I've just had pointed out to me that I used or asked about. Yeah, that'll get you called a wanker with me smiling. And none of you want that, do you, you globe-believing wankers? Yeah? You're all terrified of the awful truth that Earth's flat. Not me. Let's get that clear.
But they have to get through you to get to the measurements to make you look bad with a gotcha that needed those measurements to begin with.
Yeah, they want to project that fear onto me. Yeah, their fear about what the world really is in the face of their stupid, dumbass, inconceivable perception of what they thought the world was, that can get projected onto me like it's me, the individual. Yeah, I'll just laugh at you dickheads. It's not me. It's the world you had pulled from underneath your feet that was sphere-shaped. It never was. It never will be. It was measured flat to give you that impression. That's all I'm pointing out. It's not me that made the world that way. It's your stupid ass that thought it was. Your misapprehensions, your lack of research, your inability to look how the world actually got measured, to create that stupid bull belief that you want to lean into and ignore the measurements that it's based on. Sad. Yeah? Well, can you do in the face of that? You can behave like a wanker, I guess. That's what you can do. Like that guy did. Because that's the best you've got, you bunch of globe-believing wankers.
Well, that's all they can do. I mean, even if it doesn't matter who it is, it could be Neil deGrasse Tyson, Brian Cox. They all need those measurements. There's nothing else they can do.
Past the equator, we've always said that it was extrapolated out past that point. Afterwards. That's, no, we never made any claims about how it was measured. It was extrapolated out over time.
Yeah, indeed. Because what can you measure? Like, well,
Yeah, but the point is, exactly. That's the point. See, you never made the claim that past the equator it was measured. Now, it is measured these days, as in you can measure the distances, whatever. Right? As in, eventually it was measured, but it was extrapolated out using, you know what I mean, that time zones and this and that. That's how they would have to do it. So we never claimed it was measured past the equator. We only claimed the Polaris measure. So them asking you that is a straw man.
Doesn't matter. It's still flat anyway.
Well, no, it is if you reference any of the stars, because there's still plenty of celestial navigation that takes place in the south. Now, you could also argue that often it's inaccurate when referenced to the maps. Yeah, I'll go with all of those. I didn't create these bleeding maps. I'm not deceiving people into believing we're on a ball. I'm not stretching out longitude lines and wrapping them around the bottom and describing a system that can't be measured with sigma octanders. I'm not doing any of that. But as Brian just put it so eloquently, that's just a straw man they need to burn so they can brush past the flat Earth they're being asked to acknowledge in the first instance as being measured with any star, north or south.
It's very painful for them, Nathan. Very painful.
Yeah, well, it's just irritating. It's beyond my concern or empathy for their pain when it's just irritating. Why are you asking me how I measure Earth flat with flat Earth measurements? Why are you asking me about how Earth gets measured flat beyond a limit that's measured on a flat plane like the equator? These stupid questions, as John just put, just irritate me. Now, when there's been 14 attempts to put to somebody how Earth is being measured flat for them to ask their question, and they've dodged it over and over again, you're like, no. You're just projecting your pain onto me now. Because presumably they're getting some sick pleasure out of my irritation as it goes on and on and on.
Would you be so kind for us Americans to define wanker? Thank you.
A masturbator. Somebody who's looking to pleasure themselves, self-gratifying person.
Oh, God. You had to ask.
Well, this is being done for his own self-gratification. In the most literal context, without being crude, that's what that is. Is he doing it so he can, better his understanding of the world? No. He's doing it to wind me up for his own pleasure.
Exactly. It's a puffer.
Yeah, it's important for the audience that's listening to understand that Nathan is just not throwing out ad hominem that are frivolous. They have denoted meaning, and that is accurate, what he just called him, because that's what he's behaving like.
Yeah, go and do that on your own, wanker. Don't involve me in that.
Well, they say that ignorance is bliss, but to argue for ignorance is orgasmic, I guess. Wankers.
Maybe.
The American version is jerk off.
Yes, that's it.
Exactly.
You guys would
off.
jerk off.
Yeah.
Yes. That's what you'd call him, a jerk off. That's what you are, jerk off. Go jerk off on your own, jerk off. Yeah, book writing, about 5 minutes once we round out and Adam joins. We'll have a short after show today. $114 people watching. Please share the show if you've not done so already. It takes 2 seconds to click the share button. Stick it on Facebook, stick it on MySpace, Bebo, whatever it is you kids use. Please share the love. And as I've said probably a couple of times already, we're going to be in politics proper tomorrow. So we'll arrive at a decent time, stay for the duration of the live show, and then leave at a decent time. After hopefully a decent after show. Good.
Was that interaction with Ayuker, like, that was the first question he asked, right?
Yeah.
So he couldn't even get past his own question.
His question was about the antipodal positioning of two flat Earths sandwiched one on top of the other to create a celestial sphere. Now, he didn't phrase it as concisely as I just did, but that's what he was asking about by going, what do you mean antipodal? That sounds like something I can bleed out a bit of globe belief from. Antipodal on a flat plane? What, on the bottom of a flat plane that we've measured? Yeah, after the fact, yeah, you mathematised two planes, one with one guy dangling off the bottom of the other and the other guy stood on top of it to create the celestial sphere that goes on to create the globe. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I don't think for one second that that could be possible. People aren't dangling underneath me. But that's how it's created to come up with your stupid globe that you believe in. No, I think that's idiotic, but that's how it's been mathsed. Not by me.
Well, technically, he asked about the two points of rotation first.
But those points of rotation must be with respect to a plane of reference.
Yeah, Nathan broke it down for him, but he was not listening.
I just didn't want to acknowledge it because he knows what the response is. What, for the audience's benefit, what would have been the response if on one of the 15 occasions he had how Earth is measured flat pointed out to him, he acknowledged it in any semblance that you, the audience, go, oh yeah, he obviously recognises that point now. What would be the reply from us? Welcome to Flat Earth.
Welcome to Flat Earth.
If you can just delay that. Yeah, that type of wanking isn't for me either. Bugger off and do that to yourself somewhere else. No, thank you. Makes me feel kind of dirty when you do that around me. No, thank you. Go away. Ugh.
Well,
how much of that?
Yeah, Brian, I'm sorry.
I was just saying, thank you, Derek. How much of that, this latitude and longitude was measured on a globe again?
None. Yeah, the globe uses these flat systems.
Well, it seems like we made enemies on both sides since we come to an understanding that Earth is measured flat. Because flat Earthers that say the same thing, that it's not the ground that we're measuring. So we seem to have made enemies on both sides.
Probably not a realistic side. They're just controlled opposition. People here to subvert the general public away from the actual facts of the matter when it comes to flat Earth measurements. Talk about other stuff that is unrelated.
I have my question, Nathan. Like, I have my question, one question. So you are talking about flat Earth measurements. So I want to know the physical measurements of the Earth. So where are they? Because I'm trying to find it, but I'm not finding them.
Latitude.
Angles with respect to the plane of reference. All measurements.
So the latitude system, for example.
So New Moon, I answered you, then John started giving you a follow-up answer, and you started asking questions in the middle of the answer that you got. What gives?
Okay, so can I explain my concern?
Were you asking something? You want to ask and explain? No. The way it works in civilized society is you ask a question, then you get a response, and then you acknowledge the response you got in some form or another.
We don't want to talk to this piece of shit anyway.
So what happened, though, New Moon, wasn't that. It was you asked a question, we answered your question, you started talking in the middle of the answer, and then didn't acknowledge a single word that you were very rudely talking through, and then you insisted on a new question and explanation from you, without acknowledging the answer that you got, that you rudely talked through. So, New Moon, the word that I'm going to describe you is quite consistently being demonstrated about with people that come and interact with us in general at the moment. You're a wanker, New Moon. A wanker. Now, I would challenge you to repeat a single sodding word that either John or I just answered your question with. And I would estimate that you won't be able to do it because you're a wanker and you didn't listen to a single word either of us said, did you? Wanker.
No, I listened. I asked you for flatter measurement. You said...
No, I didn't want a rendition of what you asked. Yeah, we heard you the first fucking time you asked it, and then I answered. Give us some of the words that we used to answer you when you asked that you've just repeated for a second time. Notice how I'm listening and counting off the repetitions of the shit you asked and got answered. This is still you not answering or affirming that which we've responded with. You haven't done that yet. The second attempt, New Moon, you wanker. What did we answer when you asked that the first time? Do you want to give us some of the words that John or I gave you?
I want you to map...
I don't give a shit what you want, you stupid wanker. So we answered you stupid wanker, and you didn't acknowledge a word we said. You just talked through us because you're a wanker. Get lost. Go and play with your penis on your own somewhere else. You stupid, disingenuous wanker. Don't do that here.
He wants us to back. What are we?
What part of go away, you disingenuous wanker, don't you understand, New Moon? Do you feel that when somebody's obviously displeased with you and telling you to go away that you can just keep on yattering at them? No, I think you're a wanker. I don't like being in your presence at the moment, New Moon. Go away.
Because I'm asking questions.
I don't give a
you
shit.
saying me
Are
to-
you deaf or dense? Were you dropped on your head as a child, you stupid retard? I'm telling you, go away.
I want to
Because no. Dickhead. I don't want to converse with you because when I do, you yatter through my answers. That means I don't want to converse with you anymore because you're a wanker. Like you're doing now, you're about to do exactly that. Making my point clear for my audience. Making my point clear right now, right? This is why I don't want to talk to you, stupid wanker. Telling you why and you're talking through me. Me explaining why I don't is being met with the reason why I don't is being confirmed as I tell you. Oi, wanker. Now, when you ask me a question and I answer and you yatter through it, I just call you a wanker and tell you to get lost. That's what I'm doing. Get lost.
No, taking the elevation angle
Get
of the
lost.
sky has nothing to do with the
Get
surface of
lost.
the Earth.
So you think confirming that which you had a first attempt to do? Oi, wanker. Get lost.
Has just
Get lost, wanker.
Vertical line.
Get lost.
Nothing else.
Get lost, wanker.
He thinks an elevation angle is just a vertical line.
Yo, New Moon, is there something wrong with you?
What, an idiot?
He's a wanker. That's what's wrong with him. He's a wanker. You're a wanker, New Moon.
Like, is this how
Yeah,
you
you can
conversate
take
with
the
people? Like, on a
elevation
regular
angle of
basis?
any star exactly without using horizontal line.
Sorry, we use it in
What about that?
navigation with respect to the ground, you stupid idiot. We're
Show me the
navigating the
navigation on
freaking...
flat Earth.
We're navigating the ground, aren't we?
First you need
We're
to
navigating the ground, aren't we,
First you need-
dickhead? We're navigating the ground, aren't we?
You are not even.
So he's
showing
going
your
to
model.
say
You're
we're
talking to
not.
celestial
This is navigation, wanker. So you're doing what the
Show me
last
the
wanker. We're navigating the fucking ground, and you are being a disingenuous wanker. You haven't acknowledged the fact that you're trying to take this angle we're measuring with respect to the ground we're navigating away from the ground. Now, when I bring it back to the ground, which is what we're navigating, like I've just put to him twice, he's not acknowledging that fact. Because he needs to take this elevation angle measurement that we're using for the ground that we're navigating. He needs to take that away from the ground, don't you, New Moon? You wanker.
Well, you can't, because the vertical he's saying it's in is with respect to the surface of the Earth.
No, it has nothing to do.
Yes, you unbelievable wanker. We are, when navigating using celestial navigation, navigating the ground. But this disingenuous wanker, do you see that pleasure? Did you hear it? He's pleased with his wank that he's having. No, go and play with yourself on your own, you stupid wanker. Yes, navigation is with respect to the ground. No! No, you're a wanker. That's what you are, wanker. Okay, wanker? I don't want to talk to you anymore. That doesn't mean when I tell you I don't want to talk to you, you're being invited to talk through the top of me telling you to get lost. I'm not inviting a response, you stupid wanker. I'm telling you to go away now that we've proved you're a wanker. That little smug laugh while you were shown to be inconsolably wrong. No, you were laughing about it. No, you're just wrong. We're navigating the ground when we measure the ground with these elevation angles because we're going to navigate the ground. What's that? It's not the ground, you stupid wanker. Get lost. We don't want to talk to you anymore. You're a wanker. Go and be a globe-believing wanker somewhere else.
Horizontal line.
Go away, you stupid wanker. Go away. Go away. Go away, you disingenuous wanker. We don't want to talk to you anymore. Do I have to remove you? Go away, you wanker. Go away.
I'm helping you. I'm helping you. You don't know astronomy.
You're helping me, are you, you stupid wanker? No, you're not helping anyone. You're lying to the audience by telling me it's not the ground. When I point out how it is the ground, all you can do is this, which is be a wanker through the top of me pointing out. We're navigating the fucking ground. Aren't we?
You're talking about celestial.
Are you going to ask me a question instead of the acknowledgement that we're navigating the ground with these measurements? The thing you're trying to take it away from?
If you're trying to...
If we're isn't answering that we're navigating the ground, you're not acknowledging it. Because you're a wanker, New Moon. A wanker. Do you understand wanker? Maybe you could just talk through me, point out what a wanker you are. Maybe you could talk through me, but this is you winning, is it, wanker? Is you talking through me winning? No, wanker. we're navigating the fucking ground, you stupid wanker, and based on that fact that you're lying to my audience about, you're not educating me or anybody. You're a disingenuous lying wanker now. You're not educating anybody, you're lying to them. Because you won't acknowledge that when we do navigation, it seems obvious to the audience now, because I say it. It's navigation. Obviously with respect to the ground, because we're navigating it. This wanker says no. I don't want to talk to you anymore. You're a wanker. Go away, wanker.
Show me the celestial navigation.
Go away. What part? Go away, wanker. Don't you understand? You're just disobedient. You're a disobedient wanker. Disobedient wanker. Go away.
Trying to steal
wanker,
the tangent of
wanker,
the
wanker, 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 wanker. What part of go away, because you're a disingenuous, proven fact, wanker, don't you understand? Do you think we still want to engage with you? You think in the face of me telling you off for being a disingenuous wanker, proving how you're a disingenuous wanker, and then telling you to get lost because of it, means I want a question from you, you disingenuous wanker? No, it doesn't. Go away.
Just for the audience, you spent hours.
I'm not answering anything. I'm telling you, you're a disingenuous wanker because we're navigating the ground and you won't acknowledge it. You will yatter through me trying to get an attempted fifth time. Attempt of you acknowledging. Oh, you're going to wanker through me? You're going to wanker through the top of me acknowledging that we're navigating the ground, are you, wanker? This a fair discussion? No, it's you, a wanker, trying to subvert from the facts that you laugh about when you lie about them. No, we are navigating the ground when we do, what's it called again? Celestial navigation with elevation angles off the ground, with respect to an angle to the ground, that you say it isn't. No, wanker, I don't want to talk to you anymore. That's me for the fifth time proving what a wanker you are and what a liar you are. I don't want to converse with you anymore. Why should I have to throw my pearls to you, swine? You. Swine! I spit on you, swine. Swine, I spit on you. I spit on you. I spit on you, swine. Swine, I spit on you. I don't want to converse with you. I spit on you.
Okay, what's the celestial horizon? Tell me.
Don't talk to me, you swine.
What the hell is this?
Swine!
What
Pig!
The hell is
Pig!
Tangent,
hello, pig!
Line.
Pig! Pig!
Bird.
Pig!
You're talking about
pig! Lying pig! Don't want to talk to you anymore. You're a liar. You laugh in the face of the lies that get. Pig! I'm talking to you, pig. Pig, dog, liar. Swine. I'm talking to you. You, pig, dog, liar. Don't want to talk to you because you're a pig. You're lying about the Earth that we're navigating. That's what you're doing. That means I don't want to talk to you anymore because you're a pig.
Why you're talking about globe Earth and talking about the measurements of the sky? Just talk about the Earth if you're talking about the flat Earth measurements, okay?
It's on screen for my audience. Here's an elevation angle measurement to the sky with respect to the flat surface that will be measured. That's Earth being measured flat. This disingenuous wanker can only glare through the top of me pointing out to an audience how Earth's measured flat in an example using a light in the sky and its ground position. That's the point directly below this light, the sun, in this example, taken from a navigation manual, with a flat plane beneath the angle measured, because we're going to be navigating the surface. What's this wanker doing? He's telling me, no, we're not needing the surface. That's what he's doing, because he's a glurf, a wanker, a liar, swine, a pig.
Glober. I'm not a glober, but I am.
You're a pig. You're a pig and a liar. That's what you are, a pig. Swine.
Could I debunk him, Nathan, for a second, if you don't mind?
Yeah, go ahead.
Give Brian a shot.
New moon. The geographical position of a celestial body is always directly underneath that celestial body. And the geographical position is always on the surface of Earth. You understand that?
Yeah, GP is on the surface of the Earth, yeah.
No, you just told us it wasn't.
So, 1 second. That's fine. You've just completely debunked your position. Because when we measure with an elevation angle, right? When we measure with an elevation angle, the GP of the celestial body is always directly vertical below the end of that elevation angle. It's the vertical we're measuring with the elevation. So how is that going to work on a curved surface with a tangent?
No. Don't ask him that. No, that's the surface being measured flat.
Hang on. Nathan, you don't know what I'm talking about. How is that going to work on a curved surface with a tangent anymore?
Okay. So tangent for that GP point and tangent for your observable point
No.
are both different.
How
They
is
are
it
not
going to work
parallel.
on a curved surface? The GP point is not going to
All
be
tangents are
below
not
the celestial
parallel on a
body.
sphere.
The GP point is not going to be below the celestial body. It'll be back behind the end of the elevation angle. It won't be below the celestial body. The end of the directly below the end of the elevation angle will be where the GP point is. So I've just disproven the use of tangents, the use of a globe, and any other complete other horse manure that you want to come along with. And you also don't know what a zenith angle is, because you think a zenith angle is just a straight vertical line. You're an idiot.
It's also
you don't
a
know
liar.
what you're talking about. Yeah, you're coming. Yeah, he's a liar, but he's coming in here. He's coming in here, Nathan, wanting to attack you and attack us, and he doesn't know anything about the subject. Simple little things that anyone would see and understand about it. You know what I mean? He doesn't even understand that. He thinks the GP point could
Just
be
not
directly
letting me
below
explain
celestial
here. I
body.
can give you
When
a video.
the baseline is
Sorry, Brian, he's
3,000
yattering through the top of you that you're not letting him
Of course he
speak.
is.
Sorry, he's yattering that you're not letting him speak while he literally stops the audience from hearing you by talking through the middle of you. So, New Moon, wanker, you've just chanted through Brian's statement that you were stopped from being able to speak. No, that's what you were doing to Brian literally in that moment. You were stopping Brian. So, wanker, that's what you just did to him. The thing you were projecting through him, stopping him, impeding him. So you were impeding him with the very thing you were moaning about, how you're being stopped as you impede Brian. That makes you a wanker who I don't want to deal with. Furthermore, you're engaging us with so-called flat earth tangential arguments based on the derivation of a flat plane with the angles to the stars that create that ball to have tangents too. So you need a flat plane to create that ball for you to argue about tangents when you're telling us you're not a baller. No, it seems like you are a baller because you're arguing for tangential positioning that Brian is debunking and you're not acknowledging him either. What you are doing is bleating that you're not getting your chance to speak through the top of Brian taking a giant shit on your lies. So, scum, swine, pig, dog, liar, get lost.
Horizontal line on your position.
So no,
horizontal line.
that wasn't an invitation for you to talk. So me calling you a swine and calling you a pig and spitting in your general disgusting face, metaphorically, of course, you think that's an invitation to continue a discussion with us. I think you're disgusting. I don't want to talk to you. It's because of the proven fact you're a scumbag. That's why. So based on the fact you're a scumbag, I don't want to converse with you anymore, you scumbags. Because you're a scumbag. Simple. You're representative of every scumbag globe-believing wanker who comes here with nothing. Nothing but the use of flat plane measurements that you deny when you say that navigation's got nothing to do with the ground, and laugh when I point out how absurd that is, and tell me that you're educating me. No, you're a wanker, and it doesn't seem to matter how many times I spit in your disgusting lying pig dog scumbag face, you still think that's going to be followed up by a question from you. Wanker.
I'm not saying navigation has nothing to do with the ground. I'm saying when you take the elevation of the star, elevation angle of the star.
Yeah, Brian, it doesn't seem to matter how much I call him a wanker, how much I tell him to shut up, how much I tell him to get lost. He thinks that he's going to be the next person to talk. Wanker.
Yeah.
No, wanker. No, wanker. You see, we proved you're a wanker and a liar, disingenuous, a scumbag, and a swine that we don't want to throw pearls to. But you still think that, give me your pearls. Get lost. Nobody likes you. We despise liars, scumbags, and pig dogs like you. We despise you. You want to spend time amongst people that despise you? We hate you, in fact. But you're going to still spend time in our company. That makes you a masochist. Pathetic.
I'm a flat earther.
No, you're not. You're a liar. No, you're not. You're arguing for tangency only 5 minutes ago. You're a liar.
Do you know tangents are...
So you're a liar. So now he's proving it. Now he's proving it, ladies and gentlemen. So he's now asking me about tangents. Now he's asking me about tangents. A minute ago, these angles had nothing to do with the ground, but now suddenly they're tangent to the ground? When it needs to be a ball suddenly incorporated in this belief that's got nothing to do with the ground. Ha, ha, ha. Disingenuous pig. No pig.
He just admitted that it has everything to do with the ground with the GP point and debunked his own claim of tangents in the globe by the use of the GP point. He doesn't understand that he's being completely debunked by himself.
Well, the minute he went to vertical, his argument was over.
Yeah.
Because if you look at that picture on the screen, what's vertical with respect to?
Horizontal plane, perpendicular.
Yeah, he's done. And
Absolutely.
Bev will tell you, buddy, all horizontals are parallel with the plane of the horizon, which is where surface level appears to meet the sky. Go away.
I'm going to say if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Premiering streams, then stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow.
And he speaks through Nathan, gets Nathan all frustrated and hyper. They're not decent. They don't. Didn't you hear Chocolate say, "Is this the way you conversate with people?"
Do you really expect any blurs to come in here and be converted or convinced? They just have different measures of how they be antagonists. Okay, the fact of the matter is everything that he makes, he antagonizes Nathan to reiterate and reiterate and reiterate becomes more redundantly.
Redundant.
And more redundant.
Yeah. No, what it is they come in thinking they know what they're talking about and they don't. Then they don't want to listen to anyone. And I know you don't like me doing it, Nathan, but it's totally fine to do it there in that situation. Where I brought him to his own claim, showed him how it fails in reality.
No, perfectly fine.
It's, you know what I mean?
It's worthy of an apology for me because I'm so triggered. I'm interrupting you with every point that makes my point halfway through. Yours is nearly there. It's getting there slowly. No, not even that slowly. You're pretty concise. But I just want to say, well, there you go. There's your point conceded. It's like, yeah, well, you're halfway to getting him there and actually getting him to say it while I'm interjecting. So my apologies.
No, it's okay. He's trying to rile you up.
You got to try to, like, when you get that trigger, Nathan, just hand off for a little bit.
Exactly.
That'll save you. That'll save you a little, high blood pressure and frustration and all that.
I did.
You have a whole crew here.
Yeah.
You know why? That makes sense because a lot of them do that just to be spiteful. Like the guy that came in and said, I thought British guys were smart. They just like to do things. They're immature, stupid individuals. And they know how to get you flustered. So they're just being antagonists, just to be antagonists. They don't care whether they're right or wrong. You could call them everything in the book. And they just be like, nah, 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 nah. That's how they are. These are immature, stupid, rat turd eating morons.
Nathan Chocolate said hands it off. That's in reference to football. The quarterback hands the ball off to the running back, and the running back breaks free. Hand the ball off, baby.
No, I totally get it.
You remember Humble H? And
yep.
He had the same thing. He was arguing the same point, or questioning us on the same point that New Moon was. Humble H gets it now. Like when he finally got it, he started laughing.
Does he? Okay, I'm gonna go in Discord when he's in there, and I guarantee you, he's gonna pull a freaking lumpy gas in a vacuum type move.
Or a wave. What is a wave? Is a wave really something that we can measure? He's to kill me with that.
Right. I hope you're right, Refracted. I hope he does get it. But he's another disingenuous guy.
I don't think so. I think this subject's so simple, but it's had so much convolution thrown on top of it that you kind of miss the forest for the trees kind of thing.
I'm going to tell you why. Because he's going to go over to a baller channel, and they're going to confuse him even more, and he's going to come right back here. It's fine.
Yeah, but you don't know that. You don't know that, Neil.
That's been his MO since he's been here, Chocolate.
Yeah,
I'll go into Discord and I'll check it out.
Whatever he's going to do afterwards, what he's done beforehand is listen to ballers. Because he's come in talking about the vertical. That's the ballers telling them you can just get an angle off the vertical. That's them doing two things. Number one, it's them trying to hijack vertical, stuff they can't hijack. And number two, it's actually them blaming parallel verticals, but they're idiots. But number two, it's them not understanding the situation. That they think a zenith angle, right? A zenith angle is just a measurement of the vertical. You don't have to think about anything. No, a zenith angle is an elevation angle read the opposite way. How many degrees are in a zenith angle? 90. And if you've got a vertical, which you just claim to have, then the other end of that 90 is the horizontal. Do you know what I mean? They don't understand what they're talking about. So when they come in talking about you just get an angle off the vertical, that means you don't know what you're talking about. You think that's a rebuttal when you're actually making our point for us. Sorry, John.
No, you're right. Because there's a reason it's called the co-altitude and not just the altitude. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, these things are intertwined with the parallel ground and sky. So yeah, co-altitude.
But Brian, even when you inform them that they have debunked themselves with conceding that they admit that they're using a vertical and it is two lines, straight lines that meet, one being vertical, one being horizontal, they still either pretend or don't get it. So it is a never-ending.
They don't get it. That's the thing about it.
You know, this like, you know, this
but they
like,
don't. That's what it is. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's what it is. They don't get it. They think they still have an argument. They're not realizing. They're so busy trying to argue and think that they have an argument that when it's pulled apart right in front of them and they help it to happen, they don't realize that it's actually happened first off. You might realize after a minute or two, and that's when they'll try and do different things. But they initially don't realize what's after happening because they didn't understand it in the first place. Sorry,
is it too quick a death kind of thing? Like are we killing it too quick for them to get it kind of thing?
No, usually they're killing it for us. Usually they're the ones killing it for us. We just got to point out the words that they use that killed it. And then they're like, nah. that's the problem. Like Brian said, they usually, by their own claims, they debunk themselves.
Man,
you just got to point that out to them.
Man, they got graphic thumbnail illustrations in front of them. They know. It's their duty. It's their duty to maintain resistance and relent. That's all it is. That's all it is.
No, I don't think that's the case. I just think ignorance is bliss, and we're taking that away.
And consensus is a warm blanket.
Look, everyone has a hierarchy of how they think. Part of that is their natural inclinations. Part of that's how they were taught. There's no silver bullet argument that's going to persuade somebody to a different position. Each person is unique. It's like a puzzle to crack. And even if that's the case, some of them aren't going to be persuaded because they're obstinate. So, like, you can't create, like, the perfect flat earth argument that is going to convince everybody. It's not going to happen. It's impossible.
Well, that's the beautiful part, right? We don't need to persuade, like, those who cannot be persuaded. Like, that's not, we don't need to do that.
Yeah, I don't even care about that.
If you can't be persuaded, if you need to be persuaded by facts, then you have bigger problems. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I don't see how, them stealing the information that proves the earth is flat and then turning around and trying to use it to justify their belief is in any way reasonable to tolerate.
Can I respond? So you told that vertical lines are perpendicular to horizontal lines, but in real, the vertical lines are based on the plumb lines, the downward vector. That's the vertical line, and your horizontal line is orthogonal to that vertical line. It's parallel. It's perpendicular to that vertical line. It makes a 90 degrees, and it's a tangent. So it has nothing to do. And if you want to take elevation angle of a star, it's just 9 minus
vertical.
John, he's completely ignoring what happened.
You know, he sound like you sound like
hang on a second, D-Rose. John, he's completely ignoring what was said to him earlier on. Either that or he doesn't understand what was said to him.
Citations
he debunked
right
his own
now.
position earlier on.
Yeah, it's not tangential. It's parallel with the plane of the horizon. You know that. Why are you saying tangential? Jesus.
Even if you had a flat Earth and you had differentials in vertical, right, that were subtle, and you create an orthogonal to that, right? So that not all horizontals are parallel. Even if you could do that, that still wouldn't make them tangents.
Right.
So you're adding a third line in there called a tangent line, but the tangents are only relevant to circles. So where's the circle?
Yeah, you gotta assume a
First,
sphere.
I'm talking about the horizontal line. If the Earth is flat, then horizontal lines are parallel. If the Earth is a sphere, they are not
The Earth
parallel.
is flat, not if.
No.
They can't not be parallel to horizontal. When you use the
Do you think
term
horizontal line is
horizontal,
the surface
when
of
you
the
use the
Earth?
term
And do you think
horizontal, it means that you're only talking about the flat plane. You're not talking about a globe, only a flat Earth. Horizontal cannot
okay?
exist on a globe, and neither can vertical. So every time you use those two terms, thinking you're smart, you're debunking your own globe. You don't know what you're
do you
talking
think
about.
horizontal lines are
Earlier on, the point I made concerning the GP point, you didn't understand, and now you're here still arguing because you don't realize that you've already been debunked.
Okay, so first you're talking about the celestial navigation of a globe. First, I'm talking about the normal thing. Normal things like the horizontal line is not
I'll
the
ask you again then
surface
about
of
the
the Earth.
GP point. The GP point, right? Is that on the surface of Earth?
Yes, GP ground position is on the surface of the Earth.
And
So what?
directly below, and that'll be directly below the celestial body, yes?
Yes.
Yes. And so when you're measuring an elevation angle, right, you're measuring a vertical, right, angle, a vertical angle or measurement, right, off of your horizontal to the celestial body. So vertically, directly below that celestial body, right, whether it's at the very end of that elevation, or that horizontal of the elevation angle adjacent, or it's directly below that, it means that that horizontal is parallel to the horizontal mean sea level. It means the GP point is directly below that. Directly below, not back at an angle behind towards the center of a globe. It's directly below that. You just completely debunk yourself and you don't realize you're doing it.
No, I'm not. The horizontal line
Yes,
at
you
that
are.
point is
If you
different,
say
and the
no, I'm not,
horizontal
it
line
means
at your
if you
point is
say no,
different.
I'm not.
It's
It
not
means you don't understand what you're talking about. You shouldn't be in here talking.
The line's not a point. It's not at that
The
point.
problem with you is you
Hold
think
on.
the
You said
horizontal
at
line
that
is the
point.
surface of the Earth. It's not the surface of the Earth. Earth is not completely flat. That has topography. The horizontal line is a complete flat line. You think
Yeah,
there
but
is
it
no
is
mountain?
parallel to the surface of Earth. That's the horizon. So horizontal is parallel to the horizon. That's a direct reference to the
No,
surface of Earth. Yeah,
no,
it's
it's not.
all parallel. There is no
What's the
horizontal
difference?
on a globe. You can't say, you have to use a different word. You would say slope, this slope, that slope, this curve. You wouldn't say horizontal.
Well,
They
you're
wouldn't
playing with the
technically
words
say
that you
slope
don't
either. They would
understand.
say the rate of change of slope of not zero. But that's nobody ever says that, you know?
But you need to understand horizontal line is not the surface of the Earth. It's just perpendicular
It's a
line.
direct reference to the
No
surface
one
of
said it
Earth,
was.
that being the horizon
No
that
one
is
said
parallel
it's
to it.
with
That ain't
respect.
helping.
With
You
respect.
don't
Yeah,
get your
go ahead.
horizontal line
I'm
with
sorry. That's
respect
what
to
he
the
sounds like
horizon.
to me.
That's not
It's
horizontal
difficult
line
enough to
doesn't
talk in this.
meet
All right,
your
It's difficult
okay,
enough
who
to
theory.
talk
cares,
in this
dude? Who
chromosome.
cares? Define
You're making
what a
monkey sound
horizontal
over.
is. What's a horizontal?
Okay, let me define you. So horizontal line is the line that derived from your vertical line. So what's your vertical line?
No. I didn't say give me your
Can I give you
impression of what it
citation right
is. I said give me the definition.
I want to give you the citation from directly. So what's that? That's just the downward line. Things goes down. You need a plumb bob to find your vertical, and
That's
from
not
that
horizontal.
vertical, 90.
That's not horizontal.
What horizontal? It's the
You're
vertical line,
describing
plumb line.
vertical. You've been asked what horizontal is. You keep describing vertical. You're just idiotic at this point because you don't know what horizontal is. You're confusing it with vertical, which is what you keep defining plumb bobs and things. No, they're definitely not horizontal. Now, you can derive horizontal perpendicular to your plumb bob, but that's not what you're being asked for. You're repeatedly, incorrectly defining horizontal as vertical. That's wrong. Okay? Swine.
Horizontal is perpendicular, like you need your vertical, and orthogonal to that, it's your horizontal.
Oh my God, dude.
90 degrees angle. It's in
Hey,
astronomy.
hey, buddy,
This is worse. This
can
is
you
almost worse than
define
talking to me.
horizontal without using the word vertical? Can you do that?
No. How about you
I
just
can't.
define the word horizontal as it's defined? How about that?
There, yeah, that. That's what I was trying to get to, but apparently this guy doesn't speak very good English.
All right, I'll do it for you since you're
That's
too
you, buddy.
slow. Horizontal, parallel to the plane of the horizon. There you go.
At right angles to the vertical. So he was committing a composition fallacy, but part of the definition isn't the whole of the definition.
Right, and what is vertical? What is the vertical? It's coming from the vertex, right? So the line that has a vertex with the horizontal. So when you reduce all this out, you end up with parallel to the plane of the horizon. That's the key term.
Okay, do you know where the horizontal line meets?
Isn't it? You're
It's
not
called the
acknowledging it. You're not
astronomical
acknowledging it.
horizon.
New Moon, can you acknowledge how wrong you were and how everyone's just had to take you by the hand? Not a new question from you, the swine. It'd be nice if you acknowledged some of the people that have just corrected you. Leading swine, scumbag, liar, disingenuous wanker.
You're reversing the facts.
So you're still not
Vertical
acknowledging
is
it. Do you want to just acknowledge AI? Vertices for vertical. You starting with the horizon and horizontal being parallel with it. Not with perpendicular plumb lines to give you vertices in the vertical. So we've explained it to you. Now, I'll say this again, New Moon. That would invite you to acknowledge the shit you spoke and how it was corrected multiple times by multiple people. That's not us asking you, the wanker, the scumbag, the arsehole, the jerk-off that you are, to ask us a new question, or chant through me, or just chant through me. Maybe you'll tell me how we're impeding your ability to speak as you chant through me, like the jerk-off, wanker, disingenuous arsehole that you are. You're impeding me there, New Moon, you wanker. Because I'm telling you for the third time that you're not acknowledging anything anybody's saying to you. Like the last asshole that was here on the live show. Isn't that a surprise? That you're behaving exactly the same as he did. That's to say you're not acknowledging how wrong you were when you failed to describe what horizontal actually is. It's been explained to you. It'd be nice if you acknowledged that. Now, I'm going to invite you to do that for the fourth time, New Moon. Can you do that? You disingenuous wanker, swine, scumbag, jerk-off, asshole.
So you're living in your own world, and what you believe.
Bye-bye, asshole. Bye-bye, asshole. Bye-bye, asshole. That's right. We measure Earth flat. Yeah? And horizontal is what we will be defining to come up with some of the axiomatic principles that we utilize to create balls and tangency with them. Now, this asshole's telling us he's a flat earther while he argues for tangency. He's a liar. And he'll never acknowledge anything that actually leads to the facts that are laid down here. Because if he doesn't acknowledge them, it means they don't exist. Because he hasn't acknowledged them. Fuck off! That's what you can do, you disingenuous scumbag swine.
Hand off. Remember, hand off.
Yeah, go play with your dick, you pathetic wanker. That's what you can do. Don't involve us in that. Okay?
Yeah, I think he was gonna say the end of the horizontal meet the horizon or something like that. He sort of didn't finish where he was going with that. Oh, that's absurd. He's living in his own world with his own definitions of terms. That's crazy.
Well, how was he doing it? What was this about? Sextant? What do? Take
Pure
the sextant
delusion.
out of its case? Take the sextant out of its case and like a plumb bob drops out automatically?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah. Right next to the center of the Earth button.
Yeah, they're trying to detach vertical from horizontal. Is what they're trying to do. It's
I understand
ridiculous.
that, but why don't you get down to the root cause? What were you what was he measuring with?
He's denying measurement. And nothing. He ain't got nothing.
What was he?
Theodolites. Theodolite.
What theodolite? We got a theodolite on the friggin' ship.
Oh, they want to stay away from the sextant as far as possible. They don't even acknowledge that we bring it up at navigation.
That's kind of stupid, don't you think?
Yep.
Yeah, Omnivore was here just earlier this morning trying to have the same conversation.
See, I told you.
What happened to him?
Chickened out.
Right, it's book time. With that, I'm going to say another huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and G+ panels for making today's after show possible. And of course, a massive thank you to all of you for liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, joining as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member, and all that good stuff. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.